Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and dreamers of all ages, welcome to the Disney Countdown Show.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Disney Countdown Show. I am the dapper Danielle, and I am joined by the lovely and ever so magical Megan the Magical Millennial. Hello, babe. I don't know where this accent came from, but I was just like rolling with it this morning.
I feel like it's a little transatlantic, a little bit just like, maybe Southern. I don't know, but I love it. It's getting me in the groove for today's episode. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. I think it was a little bit of the Delulu-ness in a weird way. And because I'm getting super excited about D23. Y'all, by the time you're hearing this episode, D23 will already be over. Don't worry, we'll have bonus episodes. We'll be talking in detail about what has been announced at D23 here in the next later episode. But we're still recording this right beforehand. And I've been working on getting stuff around. I fly out in 2 days. Am I packed? Absolutely not. Do I have a giant pile of feathers and other type of things I have bought last night for creating a last minute cosplay? Yes. Am I worried I don't have enough hot glue? Absolutely. So it's going to be a trip. It's going to be interesting.
These are all things that we have to think about when we're planning our outfits for these conventions and expos and everything. And D23 is a big one. I mean, almost everyone is dressed up in some sort of outfit, cosplay. It's going to be great. I cannot wait to see all of it. But yes, I'm the same way. I'm trying to get all of my outfits together. I do have 3 for each day, but I forgot D23 day, Danielle. I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to wear at the parks on Thursday.
And luckily for me, that's like a travel day. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I already usually dress up to go to the airport.
Good.
Not because like, because there's some people that don't like dressing up to go to the airport. They go in like full comfy mode, but I like to dress up, and usually I get an extra bag of chips on the plane, and that's the real reason why I do it, is just for the extra bag of chips. Is it like, if you look nicer, then you like, they'll just give you one. I'm just saying, it has worked for me half the time.
I like that theory. I'm gonna test that one out. I look like I just walked off the street when I am walking on an airplane, or I just rolled out of bed, and I am trying to be as comfortable as possible. Like, I wear full sweats and no makeup. That's me on an airplane. So I need to give that a try.
I'm gonna be full beat face, and then I have like a little dress I'll be wearing like as soon as I step off the plane. The plan is to yeet myself into the park, and then yeet ourselves over to the hotel where we're going to be having our special event afterwards with Beastly Appetite and ourselves. And that's very exciting too. I'm getting excited about it. I'm getting super pumped.
Me too. It's going to be a good time. And of course, you guys will see all of this on our socials. We'll have, a lot of stuff up there. So if you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and follow us on social media. We are at Disney Countdown Show on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Pod Disney on Twitter /the X, and we do also like to post our full episodes on YouTube as well, and that's youtube.com/Countdown Network. And trust me, we are going to be posting quite a bit. You've probably seen it already over on the personal socials. I am of course at the Magical Millennial _ on all the things. She is at the Dapper Danielle on all the things, and there's going to be a lot coming from this weekend, so we're very excited.
And yes. And now we do have a couple of fan messages and reviews that we want to go ahead and go through. And again, how this works is that over on Apple is where if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can go ahead and send us your stars, write out your review, which is amazing. If you're listening over on Spotify, still fill out those stars, but there's no way to like write out a review. So send us a message either over on Instagram or at our email, which is going to be disneycountdown@gmail.com. Or is it the Disney Countdown Show? I always forget if we have the.
Yeah, Disney Countdown Show @gmail.com. Yeah.
At gmail.com. And that's another way for us to see your fan messages and reviews. Send them that way for us.
Danielle, we have an update. You can add reviews now on Spotify. Our producer Danny just told us in the chat. That's new. There's a comment section. They added a comment section. Can you believe it? Finally, Spotify catching up with the times.
See, it's because they heard that we were sending people elsewhere to be able to send their reviews to us. And
like, no, we need that business. We need that.
Okay, fam. Now we have to have you go investigate this in the chat for us. If you're listening on Spotify, go investigate this for us. See if you're one of the first ones to test out this comment feature. Like, let us know.
That's as smart as Spotify. That's all I'm saying. That's a good idea, and also very helpful for us to see if you're listening over there, because I know a lot of people do. So hello, Spotify fam.
Yeah. Now we do actually have a couple. Yeah,
we do. Yes, I have one right here. Actually, I think this is from Apple, because the username is Allie, the Big Disney Fan 5571, and Allie says, "I love how funny they are." I'm assuming they means me and Danielle, so thank you very much. I also love Kevin, the haunted washing machine, and I look forward to seeing more episodes with 5 hearts. Thank you, Allie. We also love Kevin, but in a weird way.
Do we love Kevin?
We love that Kevin is very vocal about their needs and I guess wants to be heard, kind of thing.
Well, and what's weird again? Okay, so another update since the last episode is that Kevin went silent again and has not made very much noise at all, which is crazy. But then we just had a tropical storm, and my bedroom started leaking.
Stop. What?
So, and
there's water in your bedroom?
Well, so what I believe is that I think the dryer vent, which is also in the laundry room, is right above in the corner of my bedroom. And so it started raining enough that I think it got through either the seal or something. And so I have a corner beam of my bedroom that it started leaking. And then a far wall, it kind of looks like something of The Exorcist, where there's a line that goes right down the middle and the paint's like peeling forward, and I'm like, don't you do this to me right now. And I yelled at the wall, and I was like, Kevin, go back to your room, go back to the laundry room. You do not belong in here. This is my sacred space. And yes, so well,
we believe
Kevin and I are having an interesting time.
For those who are relatively new, we believe that Kevin is a water-based appliance ghost. And so it would make sense that there is now water leaking into Danielle's room. He got angry about the tropical storm or something, and now is spreading water all over your house.
I don't know. So
Kevin, you're supposed to protect the water.
Right. And I'm like, no. I'd rather you stay in the appliances. Stay contained within an item and not going into my walls is really what it is. Oh, gosh. So, yes.
I'm wishing you more solitude. I guess it's been quiet, so hoping that continues at least until you leave for your trip. And this is after I
presented the whole thing of like, oh, hey, do you want to do you want me to leave some music on for you? Do you want all this other stuff? And so when you ask nicely, I think this is where I think he's a boomer or something like that, because I asked him politely. I did have a nice conversation. I tried to have it very open, and then he gave me the silent treatment, and then he moved on to something else. So I don't know. We're still working on our communication skills with Kevin. We'll see how it goes.
Kevin's
more to come.
Aggressive. Kevin didn't go to therapy, so he doesn't.
Kevin did not go to therapy, and that's where I. Right. And that's why I said that. I was like, we're still containing our emotions. We're having an Elsa moment. We're concealing, not feeling. And that's not healthy. Okay. So we're having these lessons with an appliance ghost. It's a lot.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh my gosh. Kevin, be more like Anna. You don't need to be like Elsa. Thank you very much.
Right. Oh, gosh. Anyway, moving on. We have another one. This is going to be a fan message from Rachel over on Instagram. And, this one's actually a good one. It says, question, for me, what happened to the televised Disney Christmas and Easter parades? This is a huge memory from my childhood that disappeared. Okay.
Oh.
So for some history for y'all, the Disney Christmas Day parades are still going on. They're still a thing. They did a little bit of more of a flashback one in 2020 because, of course, nobody was really filming then. But the Christmas ones are still going on, and now they've added a Thanksgiving one on. They film them all at the same time, but then they split them into 2 different specials. The Easter one, however, ended in 1999. So that one ran from 1985 to 1999. Very peak Eisner era, really pushing that new television, really pushing cable. And that's why it kind of disappeared. Was in 1999, all the cable stuff changed. TV as we know it changed very greatly in the early 2000s, and it was like, okay, we don't want to pay for this spot anymore. It's really what it is. It wasn't as cheap as it used to be. And then also during that time of the year, it is financially for Disney, if you're looking at the quarter breakdown, it's like smack dab in the middle beginning of everything. And they don't want to spend all that money towards getting performers, paying TV. So that's why they wait until the end of the year.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's a really long about way of saying it. But yeah, but I get questions still of people come, and it still happens even today, we'll have people come into Magic Kingdom on Easter saying, "Where's the Easter parade?" And not realizing that it was filmed in advance, number one, back in the day too. Yes, and number two, it's no longer aired. So
yep. Makes sense. Yep. Yeah. As far as I know, did Disneyland have one too? Did they do it at both parks back in the 90s?
I don't know if they actually,
I don't remember
in Walt Disney World.
Oh, okay.
Because we had the most opening up at the time also.
Yeah. And you just had a better castle for television. Let's be real. So that makes sense. Okay. Well, cool. I appreciate you. Danielle always just has the answer, y'all. It's the best.
I try.
All right. So this next one here is from Leah on Instagram. And she says, "Hi, I absolutely love your podcast almost as much as I love you two. I've been watching your TikToks for what feels like forever. And I love having a podcast that combines both Disney World and land. I'm from Ohio, so out of the two, World is definitely closer, but I went to land for the first time this past summer as a college grad present to myself. I always hope to meet one of you when I get the chance to actually make it to the parks, and Megan was actually in the parks one time at the same time as me last summer, but I never got the chance to run into her. I'm so sorry to miss you, Leah. Seriously, though, I really love your podcast. Thank you for all the time and effort you put into this, as well as your videos, to give us further away folks a piece of home on our phones. Love you." Oh, Leah, we love you too.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Ohio fam representing. Yes. Thank you.
And congrats on graduating. That's very exciting. You should be very proud. I'm glad you got to spend it at Disneyland. Always exciting.
And that's what's unfortunate, is that usually that's how it happens, is that we are ships passing in the night. Yeah. And there were a couple people that I saw here this past week in the park that were just like, "Danielle, I've been trying to find you for forever." And I'm like, okay, now that you've seen us once, now you will keep seeing us over and over again. It just takes once, y'all.
Too, because it's true. And it's the rule.
And then it works.
It's the universe's rule. Yeah. I tell them.
All right. And then we do have another one. Now this one, I will go ahead and apologize. This is from Elizabeth on Instagram. Elizabeth wrote this note back in November of last year. It's taken us almost a full year to be able to get to this one.
I think it's very topical, given that obviously we have fall right around the corner and Halloween right around the corner. So
exactly. And so I think that's what happened, is that we were pinning this for a rainy day of like, oh, this is very fall aesthetic pin. And then it got crazy there towards holiday time. And then we never got around to it. So we were digging and we were like, oh, we never answered this one. Let's answer this one. So hello, Elizabeth on Instagram. She wrote, was listening to the pod and I was getting ready for work this morning, and Columbia Harbor House does have a pumpernickel bread bowl with New England clam chowder. It's the bomb, especially when Ian upstairs looking out onto Liberty Square. So she listened to this right after I went on my rant about bread bowls, which
back in like the fall, essentially. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, that's such fall vibes. And that was amazing. And then how I was angry that we do not have bread bowls here in Disney World. And I'm still very bitter about it. I can go on another rant about bread bowls. Y'all don't, I will go down that rabbit hole again. Or baked potatoes. I have been craving a good baked potato, and somebody mentioned it to me. We were passing by Liberty Square, and there used to be a cart that used to have the baked potatoes, and they're like, "Do you remember it?" I said, "Stop! Don't even get me started. I will be triggered right now." Anyway, like literally how I responded. It was a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know if the clam chowder is actually still back right now for the summer, But one thing that happened was at the same time that the chicken and waffles went away, that like same day the Hush Puppies went away that were originally over at Columbia Harbor House. And I just checked the online menu and it listed the Hush Puppies back. I wonder if we kicked and screamed enough that it started, like they brought it back.
Maybe. Do people really love hush puppies over there? I can't even.
What in the South? Of course we love all hush puppies.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's not a thing over here. You don't find them a lot in California.
Oh my goodness!
The only restaurant I know that has it is Lazy Dog. Of all places, it's like it's really? One of those restaurants that has everything, like a variety of everything. It's relatively inexpensive, but that's the only place I can name off the top of my head that has hush puppies in California.
No.
And that's good.
I love me some hush puppies. Not the ones that have like the conch like mixed into it. Like that's very Key West vibes. But just like
some have
traditional. Like sometimes you can mix seafood in there, and sometimes people put some unnecessary stuff into hush puppies. But like really good hush puppies is when you go to like a seaside restaurant here in Florida, kind of sketchy. But if the hush puppies come out and they're burning, and you have a nice little like saucy sauce to dip it in, ooh, good times. Good times.
Sauce. Yeah,
I might be finding me some of that for lunch now. Actually, now that I'm talking about that sounds really good.
Yeah, they're kind of like fritter-ish, are they not? Is that
they are like little corn fritters is basically it. They're or a different version of cornbread. Got it. Is a weird way of explaining it.
I see. Yo, it's I guess Royal Street Veranda, which is over by Pirates of the Caribbean, sometimes has those little fritters, but I think those and hush puppies are a little different, but anyway.
Yeah. And yes, April, are one of our Patreon members. So we do have a live Patreon chat that has joined us here in the chat also. And speaking of Patreon, we'll get to that in a second. But if you're a certain member of our Patreon family, you can come in and listen to our episodes live. And you get to be part of our virtual studio here happening right now. And she did say they are generally fried, right? For the hush puppies. Yes, they are usually fried. If they're not, take them back. They're not correct.
Knowing like trying to be healthy in like California or something, or like shaking things up, we'd try to make a non-fried one and it wouldn't work. So
no, because then people like me would come in and be like, no, take it back. Right. So what kind of blasphemy is this? Be gone, Satan. That's what it would be.
Oh man, that's too funny. I can say I've only had them one time at Lazy Dog, and they were good. So.
See, I'll find you some hush puppies, Megan. That's my next thing to do on the list.
Going back to the pumpernickel bread with the clam chowder, that sounds bomb. I would love to go and have that, especially in the fall. That sounds great.
And I did mention it in that episode because I don't like clam chowder actually, and so, but you can't get here in Florida. You can't just get just the bread bowl. Like you only can get it if you get it with the clam chowder, and that's what made me angry.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I gotcha. And who's having clam chowder in the summer in Florida? That's all I'm at. Who
and if you is, no, because you're the ones that here 30 minutes later, because it's 103 out, right? Yeah, you're getting clam chowder, you're eating that, and then you're walking outside and you're like, I'm going to die. And then Reedy Creek is immediately called. Like before you even step out the door, the cast members go ahead and pre-call saying, yep, he ate the entire thing. Yes, he did order the side of hush puppies. Yes, he is slowly fading as he's walking out the door. Oh, he's down. Please come get him is the conversation that's happening.
It's good, y'all, but not in that type of heat. Not even over here in California. I don't even know who's choosing the clam chowder right now. But, yeah. That's too funny. Well, yeah, speaking of our Patreon fam that's currently joining us in the chat as part of our live recording, we do have some new Patreons that have joined. Victoria and Susie, welcome. Ooh. Thank you so much for being here. We have so much fun over on the Disney Countdown Show Patreon page. You do get access to the bonus content if you are Patreon as well as a paid subscriber. But over there on Patreon, we have the Discord. We got virtual hangs every month. We got giveaways. It's a good time. If you thought about joining, if you want access to that bonus content, because we do have a bonus episode for every countdown, we do have the link in our episode notes, or you can go to patreon.com and search Disney Countdown. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, you might get the chance to join our live sessions, which you'll see behind the scenes, some outtakes, some bloopers, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
And our next bonus episode could possibly be filmed while we're together, either in Anaheim or when Megan comes down here to Disney World. They can get a little unhinged because sometimes we record them in the park when we have the opportunity to be able to do that. Yeah. So stick around, y'all. It's a good time.
We're just like walking around, like, you know, filling time and going on rides. I think we did one on Flight of Passage, which was fun when I was over there in Animal Kingdom in April. We might do one when Danielle's over here, where we're just walking around Disneyland. You never know. Oh, we did Figment. We did Figment one time against Megan the Magical Millennial's will. And that was also
she had to have therapy afterwards.
Yeah, I did. I had to schedule a session with my therapist. No, it's all fun. So yes, if you're interested, we got the link in the episode notes. And yeah. But Danielle, okay, what's going on over on your coast? Have you been to the parks lately? What's been happening?
So of course, as you know, we are filming this before D23, but Halloween is already here, y'all. The pumpkins have arrived to Main Street already. The first Halloween party actually starts on the 8th, which is the day I fly out to California. Wow. So I will, if you're going to the very first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, I will be missing you. Have fun for me. Figure it out, y'all. And actually, well, this won't help you if you're listening to this episode by now, but there are going to be expecting some changes. Do not go based off of the maps from previous years. Some of the key candy locations and food locations have changed, and they've added a lot of food. Like, really? Oh my gosh. Like locations that were originally closed, and they just had them as treat trails. Like you would go into the restaurant, like Pinocchio's Village House, for example. Yeah. You would go in and you would just go pick a candy dish, and that would be it. And then you couldn't order food. That's not the case this year. It is going to be completely open for exclusive Halloween food at the restaurant.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. It's a lot. And they will have a couple of key items. I would say 90% of the menu is only exclusive for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. However, there will be some options that are available the entire season, which is not normal for us. Usually that's a California thing.
Right. Yeah, that is exactly what we do. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And what I think is even more weird is that they've decided that, you know what, we're also going to bring some exclusive food to the sit-down restaurants. So Be Our Guest and Cinderella's Royal Table have exclusive Halloween offerings. And even Adam mentioned that the menu for Be Our Guest looks fantastic. And I thought the exact same thing too. But your experience at Be Our Guest can take up to 2 hours. And
I was thinking that, yeah, because it's tough.
That's half your party.
Right. Because, yeah, how long is your party again?
It starts at, oh gosh, what time does it start at? You can get in as early as 3 o'clock, but the party itself doesn't start until 7, but it ends at midnight.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you kind of have to choose, or how early does the menu start? Like, can you make an early reservation at 3 or 4 o'clock, have early dinner, and then have this menu?
That's also something to think about. That I always thought that doing the sit down stuff during the parties was an interesting choice. I think if you've done them before, it's totally fine. But in terms of, like, if I was going, because it'd be my first time, I wouldn't do a sit down. However, you know, a lot of people like to do that. They like to go like to Cafe Orleans. It's usually open during our special events. As far as a Oogie Boogie Bash, I don't think Lamplight's open. Is it open? Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Right?
But
because we're so focused on other things.
I wouldn't do the dessert party at Oogie Boogie just because you're getting so much candy anyway. You know, it's too much sugar for me. But
right.
I'm not saying don't do it. It's just not my personal preference.
Yes.
Be Our Guest is an absolutely gorgeous restaurant, and I haven't seen the menu, but I'm assuming it's fantastic for the party. So,
I would say if you do a sit down restaurant, just weigh the pros and cons of what your mission is for the party. Is your mission to see characters? Is it to ride rides? Is it for candy? Is it for shows? Is it for food? If it is for food, you do you, boo. Stay in your lane, go forth, and be full. And I am happy for you.
Yeah. Agreed. Love it.
What about you, Megan, though? As you're prepping for D23, what's going on over there?
Yeah, well, not much Halloween so far, except for the merch. We have all of the Halloween merch currently at the parks, which is, it's always cute. It's actually very good this year. I'm a big fan of it. I got my little mini Mickey and Minnie pumpkins, the ones that light up. So happy about that. And honestly, nothing crazy. We still got Deadpool and Wolverine. There's been, I don't know, I've been hearing rumblings that things are going up over at the convention center, and
that's what I heard
ready.
too. I heard the posters and the outer banners were already up as of yesterday.
Yeah, things are going up for D23 and D23 day. Yeah, so we're getting there. It is only 2 days away, which is kind of crazy from the day we're recording,
and it's exhausting, right? So me and Megan were talking about this before we started recording. And then even our friend Blake from Blake's Pop Nook, who's been on the show before, he even said on Threads, he's like, I just went to San Diego Comic-Con, which is the really big one over there in San Diego. And he's like, I am already exhausted from that. And then to turn around and do D23, I feel like I haven't caught up on rest. And he said for the first time, it was where he sat in a room silent for hours, and that's not normal for him. And I was like, dude, welcome to post-con life, man. You got to recharge that social battery. It's a normal thing. I have to for MegaCon, which is the other really big one here in Florida, and I'm there the entire weekend. I'm showcasing. I did my panel last year. I'll be doing even more stuff this year. It's going to be crazy. I have to book out at least a minimum of 48 hours after the con for me not to talk to anybody, to literally shut down and recuperate, because it is so much over and over and over again. And I'm doing the same for D23.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot. I am mentally preparing for it as we speak this week. I feel like I'm excited. I'm obviously ready to see all the announcements that are coming, all the panels, and I'm excited to see all the booths that are there. But yes, definitely I am an extroverted introvert. So I will naturally at heart, I, love my solitude, my alone time, but I also love to socialize. So the social battery will need to get recharged daily. But I am really looking forward to it. It's gonna be, and I think it's gonna be over before we know it. It's gonna go by so fast. Yeah. So really excited to show you y'all everything from the expo and from our party and our live session that we're doing for an episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And we'll be super transparent with y'all. So Megan and Beastly Appetite were invited by Disney to be able to come and attend this event, and then I got Eric's +1 ticket, which I am so blessed and so thankful for. And when you're part of the influencer group, we don't have our tickets yet until the 8th, the day before
Thursday.
And we don't know anything. We know some stuff was announced last minute for hey, there's this stuff going on. We will still not know stuff until they go and they pick up their packets. So if you are somebody that likes to plan ahead and you're booking all this stuff in advance, a lot of people have been asking, because you have to sign up for the panels for certain things. We don't have that ability to be able to sign up for stuff. Or so we don't know if we're going to be able to get into most of these things, or even if we can get into the Honda Center. So we're making it work. We're winging it.
We're winging it. Yep. And that's also what's going to be probably a little bit leading to the exhaustion after the event, is figuring it out.
So that'll be what we're doing beforehand, is that we get the packets, me, Megan, and Eric, before we go into our party. We're going to be sitting down and we're going to be like, okay, are we doing this? Can we do this? What's actually going on? It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a pre-game meeting for D23. And actually, Kiki has a question in our little chat here. Is D23 going to release last-minute tickets? I don't think so, Kiki. I'm sorry. They don't typically do that, at least as far as I've known previous expos. It is completely sold out. So I think the only way in right now is knowing somebody, I think, or something.
And even then, I don't know. So like, when it comes to that kind of stuff, since they're testing so much stuff that's brand new this year, like D23 day, the day before, like the Honda Center being completely separate for the big announcement stuff and not being in the same house, I think it's a little too risky for them. So they don't want to add last minute tickets on, or else it would be even more chaos. Like if we don't even have our tickets yet, and we're literally going based off an email saying that, yes, you have them. It's a lot of trust in the system.
Yeah. You just kind of, so unfortunately, yes, with a type A people, you have to roll with it a little more. I guess
Mariah in the chat's like, I could never.
I know. It's like sympathy sweatings. Thanks, Nikki.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you.
I love that. Well, speaking of all of the D23 things and the announcements coming out, let's get into some Disney news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this
Disney news.
We have some things happening over on the California side. It was announced that a limited run Encanto show is coming to DCA, which is super exciting. Encanto, which is, of course, a wonderful movie with an amazing soundtrack. They are going to be doing a show because it came up on Disney auditions that they were posting Mirabel lookalike vocalists and actresses, as well as Isabella and Luisa. So it's looking like we're getting an Encanto show, which is really, really fun. I mean, we obviously had the Small World projections that we did. We Don't Talk About Bruno. I flipping love that show. It's like one of the best 6 minutes you'll ever see. And so now they have decided to move it into a live action kind of form over in DCA, which we do have that area over in Paradise Gardens that is, they have an Encanto backdrop there, a meet and greet sometimes. So yeah, it's good. It's really exciting.
Well, what I think is interesting is that we have a show currently going on right now, right? And it's, it actually ends here right before the Food and Wine Festival starts up. So if people did not realize, yes, it is actually coming to an end very, very quickly. The Encanto sing-along show will be ending. And then it looks like California is getting something, but it's going to be totally different because Mirabel and Bruno only come out for a brief moment in the show, where this one sounds like they're going to have multiple characters.
Yes. We've never seen an actual Isabella and Luisa character in the parks. This would be new. And it's all speculation at this point, what it is going to be. This is all based on the descriptions under Disney auditions. So we don't know even if it's going to be like a big show, like a Broadway style production, a little stage show, sing along, character meet and greet. Assuming it is going to be a show because they're asking for a singer or, so that's
right. And your Hyperion Theater is empty right now.
Our Hyperion has been sitting empty for a good year. Yeah. Ever since Rogers the Musical went away after a brief summer stint last year. So, yeah, that's true. It could be, I don't know, could be an actual show. We'll see. I don't know. That would be crazy if they actually put in the Hyperion and did a huge production of it.
Right. And I think some people will be like, okay, it's Encanto, but at the same time, yes, we're getting something back to the stage.
True.
Hopefully we'll hear a little more detail about what's actually coming or what's in the works, because the very first night of D23 is going to be the entertainment showcase. That's the big one. So maybe we'll have some more answers afterwards. Very exciting. Hopefully we will have something.
Yeah, by the time this is up, right? By the time this
by the time this is up.
Airs.
So I feel like, Megan, what we're gonna have to work on is maybe we need to film a live reaction bonus episode or something of the sort, where we're watching the live streams and getting that content. I think that'd be good.
Agreed. I like that. That's a good idea.
Well, another big thing that's going to be happening is the Disney Legends are going to be awarded at the end of D23. And there's some really big names that are coming in. They're going to be getting like Jamie Lee Curtis, Miley Cyrus, Harrison Ford,
James Cameron.
James Cameron, a ton of people are getting the Legends Award. And one in particular is Joe Rohde.
Yo, Joe Rohde! Woo! The guy, we saw him at Epcot. He said hello. He was really nice.
In passing, we're just like, hi. Okay, that was it.
Yeah. We were all freaking out.
Now there is, if you go to the Disney Company website and you search, there's actually a Q&A with Joe Rohde, which we bring this up because we want you to go and read it. Like if you want to look into a little bit of history of Animal Kingdom, he pours his heart out about Animal Kingdom in this, and it's really good. So we mentioned it to say, hey, go look it up. Again, it's going to be Disney Legends in Conversation, exclusive Q&A with Joe Rohde, and go read into that. That'll be your little homework after this episode, y'all.
He has created some of my favorite attractions and one of my favorite parks, to be honest. And he is a legend for a reason. He's the, one of the greatest Imagineers of all time. And I'm so excited for him he's getting honored, of course, at the Disney Legends ceremony on Sunday as part of D23. So, yeah, very happy for him. Very well deserved. And can't wait to see that live. It's going to be fun.
It is very exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we also have a film slate. And okay, so this is all Disney entertainment. Basically all the stuff that was announced, or some of the stuff that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. And this is just, it's a lot, but I'm also like, okay, obviously everyone's kind of, wondering or thinking like, where's Avengers going? Where are we going with this? So we have a ton of stuff that's coming up in the next couple years. Obviously, one of the major announcements, and I think we talked about this last week, was that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be returning to the MCU as Dr. Doom, because they are obviously switching their course over to Doom instead of the Kang Dynasty, and that will be, of course, there'll be the Fantastic Four First Steps, which is going to be, I think, in 2026. Is that it, Danielle? Am I getting my years wrong?
That's so far away. I don't know why they're doing this to me, y'all, because they're announcing like all this stuff of like, oh yeah, this is going to be happening in 2042. And I'm just like, y'all, so much can happen. That's too much time in between all these things that you're announcing this. And I'm like, okay, are we predetermining this before the trends come around? By that time, TikTok will be dead. Like, why are we focusing so much on these things? I don't know. I don't understand that.
Right. It's hard. And I get it though, just because they really had to pivot like in the last couple months, because obviously the Kang Dynasty was like scrapped. So, it's going to take a while for these films to be made and then released. So I totally get it. Very excited for when that happens. And obviously it's going to be, here as soon as sooner than we know it. But yes,
True.
11
fall's here
release
sooner
dates.
than we know it.
Right. It's 11. 11 is a big number. 11 release dates in 2027 for untitled projects from Marvel, Pixar, Disney Animation. So lots of stuff is coming. It's just they're trying to, I guess, nail it down over the next couple of years.
Right. I wonder if they're like, oh, hey, we're doing this because they're announcing this to be able to sell it to the actors that'll be in these roles.
Which
maybe
makes sense. Yeah. I mean, Bob Iger said that they're trying to get obviously a little bit more qualitative. They want their movies to be good. They want it to be well received. So they're putting less out, but they're trying to make them better.
Based off this list, I don't believe that, because there's a lot coming.
They still have a lot. That's true.
I would expect
from the different
1 or 2
studios. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know if it's like from the different studios or what, but we'll see how it all goes. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four a lot, just because I do really like the cast, and we will see how RDJ does in the role of Dr. Doom. I'm sure he'll be amazing. It's just going to be so a transition to see him from Iron Man to Doom.
Right.
Because it's just, it's kind of weird to me. Sorry, he's Iron
Megan,
Man.
I don't want us to sound like millennials, but I'm gonna make us sound like millennials. When did the last movie come out? When did Endgame come out?
Endgame was 2018.
2018, Megan. That was already 18, 19.
That was
20,
6
21,
years
22.
ago, Danielle. That was 6 years ago.
That's bonkers, right?
I was in my mid-20s.
So he needs to change up characters to be reintroduced to the next generation of MCU.
True. This is a whole new phase. It's a whole new, just a ball game, I guess. Same universe, different ball game, different villain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just a lot to take in. But anyway, I hope it goes well for them. I'm not gonna try to be any negative about it at all, but I hope all the movies are good.
You do you, boo. We'll be waiting over here until you finish, and we'll figure yourself out. We will be here to support over on the end. We are cheering for you until you get yourself together. That's what we're doing.
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right. Well, I think we should go ahead. And I heard that Chris has a game for us, and I'm nervous because our producer, Danny, he came on beforehand, before we started recording and said, "Oh, Chris has a good one for you," which makes me nervous. I don't like when they say that.
I'm excited though.
I do have a game.
Woohoo!
I have
Hi,
a fun
Chris.
game.
Yay. Okay.
So we played it last season, and we had a lot of fun with it. It's time once again to play the almost impossible trivia quiz.
Oh no. Oh what? Oh no. I knew it. Oh no.
So
What'd you pick this time?
In case you're new here, last season we played this game with the Disney classic, The Rocketeer. Since we're talking Marvel in this episode, we'll be taking on the 2023 movie, The Marvels.
Okay, I am a quarter of the way through, so let's see if I can do this.
You're better off than I am. Let's figure it out.
Oh boy. No,
So
I haven't
will try
finished
not
the
to spoil
Marvels.
too much of the plot, but it's been out for a while, so that's on you at this point.
It is. I know. Okay.
So we'll talk a bit about the movie, and then I'll intersperse questions into it. So basically, in this movie, Carol Danvers gets her powers entangled with those of Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau, forcing them to work together to save the universe. I'll give you two questions that share the same answer. The first question will be a Marvels question, and if you're stumped, the second will be a general knowledge question. If you don't quite get it, I'm sure you will after the first one. Okay, here we go. When we catch up with Carol Danvers, who we haven't seen in the MCU since her brief end credit cameo in Shang-Chi, she's floating through space in a spaceship, but she's not alone. She's been traveling with a flurkin, which is a creature that looks like a house cat, but has wild tentacles that reach out of its mouth to help capture its prey. The first question is, what's the name of Carol's flurkin friend?
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, that's oh my god. That's in other movies too. It's
Goose.
It's Goose. Yeah, you're right.
Let's try the general knowledge just to double check. What large waterfowl is second only to swans in size? Goose is correct.
Nice, Danielle.
I originally wanted to say Boots, and I was like, no, not Puss in Boots. That's a different cat.
Shrek. Yeah.
And so I did have to use Brianna in the chat. She did say Goose, and I was like, that is 100% it. Like, but I did know it was the double O's. Just couldn't remember what the first letter was. Again, the dyslexia kicking in.
Goose.
And that is a Top Gun reference because they're pilots in the Captain Marvel and Goose.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Moving on. The Marvels are made up of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, who we met in the 2022 miniseries on Disney+, Captain Monica Rambeau, who we got to know during the first season of WandaVision, and Carol Danvers, otherwise known as Captain Marvel. She is, however, not the first comic book character to go by that name. First question is, what comic hero that since gone through a name change was once called Captain Marvel?
Is that? I feel like Shazam was had a thing about that, but I could be wrong. Captain Marvel.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna need the
The general knowledge?
Yeah.
Here it goes. Just to double check Megan's answer as well. What pioneering music app can identify a song simply by hearing a brief audio clip?
Shazam. Yes, I have seen Shazam, and I know that reference. So yay!
Wait, okay, because Shazam's the kid that can turn into the adult, right?
The adult superhero who's known as Captain Marvel.
Where was the name or Miss Marvel
the thing
from?
He says, and then Captain Marvel was his name, but Captain Marvel was first, the Shazam version of it, and then once Captain Marvel came, and Marvel Comics came. Then they kind of took over the name, and to kind of keep it from being too confusing, they just changed his name to Shazam.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. That's where I was confused.
Yeah. Here we go. Next one. The Marvels discover that their powers are linked. What type of energy connects the Marvels?
Oh my gosh.
This one I do not know.
I'll give you the general knowledge. What do fireflies produce to attract mates?
Light from their butts.
Light magic?
It is light. Monica can see it as a spectral energy. Kamala can materialize it, and Carol can project it.
Interesting.
Yes,
it all has to do with light.
Light.
And here we go is the next one. After discovering an alien race called the Kree is behind a series of tears in the fabric of space-time, as part of a hostile search for resources, the Marvels travel to a largely water-based planet called Aladna to defend it. The first question is, how do the Aladinians communicate?
Through music.
And then
singing.
The general knowledge, the hit TV show The Voice showcases what talent?
Singing.
Nice, Danielle. There you go.
We have a couple more. The Kree then attack the Saber spaceship that's home to Nick Fury and 350 crew members, and in doing that, they destroy all but a few escape pods. Question is, what do the Flurkins do to the crew to help them escape?
They eat them.
They store them and eat them.
Store them in their little tiny cat tummies.
And then they spit them back out.
General knowledge. On July 4th, 2024, in Coney Island, right down the street from where I am right now, what did Patrick Bertoletti do to 58 hot dogs? That is correct. He ate them.
Inhale them.
And then puke them up later off camera. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. He went into the ocean and just let them all out, of however they wanted to escape.
He got through the eating, though.
Last one. After a massive tear is created, Monica says she can fix it, but only from the other side. She is successful, but her exertion of power knocks her out. We don't see her again until a post-credit scene where she's being tended to by a variant of someone from her past, as well as a mysterious figure. First question is, who is revealed to be overseeing Monica's recovery?
I assume it's Agatha. Even though I haven't seen the movie.
And the general knowledge question is, while trying to find a cure for his mutation, what classic X-Men character accidentally turned his skin into blue fur?
That's Beast.
Beast?
Yeah.
Beast is correct.
I didn't know that. Okay. I need to watch this whole movie. Goodness gracious.
Okay, that makes me more intrigued to be like, oh, okay, they're really crossing over the X-Men into all this now.
And then
that was
just before I wrap it up, that's the same universe that 10009, I think. That's the universe that Beast and is in, and the one that Monica Rambeau finds herself in. It's also the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine find themselves in at the end of their movie. So there's something happening there. But anyway, that's the Marvels. We did it.
X-Men. Yay!
Interesting. Okay, good one, Chris. We did better at this one than we did the Rocketeer one. I'll say that.
We did. It was just a little more relevant in terms of the MCU, so I feel like that helped us a bit. You did well, Danielle. That was a good one.
Thank you. I knew a couple, only from clips from TikTok. That's the only reason why I knew. All right, Megan. Well, thank you so much again, Chris. And are we ready to go ahead and break down our last top 5 of our favorite Marvel movies?
Yes, we are. And again, sorry, y'all. This is part 2 of our top 10 favorite Marvel movies. MCU,
we did make it all the way through this again, and we forgot to say it.
But you know, it's part 2. I think they get it. So thank y'all for being patient with us. But yes, let's count down our 1 through 5, and Danielle with her surprise 6 through 10 last week. I am so intrigued to hear what your top 5 movies are.
Again, everyone, before we get into our list, this is your regular reminder that these are our own opinions and are not any way reflective of the general consensus of the public. And a lot of these choices are made by Danielle just liking the outfits or like liking a lot of other little tidbits. It doesn't make any sense. So just go with it, y'all.
The Dapper Danielle doesn't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, okay? She doesn't have to. She just goes on her own experience with the movie, and that is the most entertaining part of it all, I would say. So, yeah.
It's a trip. So
it is a trip.
Well, some of you might be, again, I am so sorry. If you're listening to this episode, wherever you are, maybe you're doing chores, you're doing laundry, maybe you're out for a run, maybe you're walking the dog, maybe you're taking your kids to the first week of school, which good luck, y'all, to those that are starting school already. Just make sure you're in a space where if you scream at Danielle through the podcast, again, remember, I can't hear you. Just so to be in a safe environment. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's too funny. All right. Who started last time? I don't remember. Okay. Why don't if it's okay, Danielle, I will count down my 6 through 10 and then go into 5. Is that all right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So y'all, my number 10 was Deadpool and Wolverine. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 8, Black Panther. 7 was Iron Man. And number 6 is Spider-Man No Way Home. And my number 5 is going to be Captain America Civil War. Oh, man. When I tell you. Okay. I will say, I visited a bottomless mimosa brunch right before I saw this movie in 2015, whenever it came out. So I was feeling good seeing Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. And it blew my mind. I loved it so much. I walked out of that theater being like, that's the best Marvel movie I've ever seen. That was so good. It was one of those where you had it was kind of like the first one. You had all the characters crossing over together in this huge battle scene. And man, was it so fun to watch. And still to this day remains one of the best MCU, in my opinion, MCU films. So, Team Cap all the way. And I love it. And it had to be top 5 for me because of the experience of watching Captain America Civil War. It's one I can like rewatch over and over again. And that's also a qualification for the Marvel movies that are in my top 5. And I'm not going to get bored of it. So, there's Civil War at number 5.
Fabulous. Okay. So hold on. I'm double checking my list because I realized I wrote down 2 3s. So I'm double checking before I make sure that I say the right one for number 5 because I think those ones got flipped around.
I mean, it gives you some last minute wiggle room to make right choices, Danielle.
No, I don't think so. I think this messes me up, but I can at least review my 10 through 6. Yes. So my number 10 was Ant-Man. Number 9 was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. Number 8 is Iron Man. Number 7, Captain Marvel. Number 6, Thor: The Dark World. And that's the one everybody was just like, Danielle, you're wrong.
Yes.
Hold on. Gosh. Number 5, hold on. I'm double checking to make sure I got this right. Mm-hmm. Why did I write my 5 that way? I wrote it like you do the down and then you do the little swoopy swoop, but on the top I have 2 lines. I made my own number right there. I don't even think that exists. Okay. My number 5. Hold on. Do I still like that one? Do I want to switch it with this number 3?
She's making last minute choices, everybody. Let's hope it's
the right one. I'm not happy. Oh, no. Or do I want that at 4? No. What's your gut saying? I'm making the decision. Making the decision.
Here it is.
Number 5 is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, yay. Hey, that's a good one. Okay. I like it.
So out of the Spider-Man movies, the new one, well, I guess it's not really the new one. The new one that's not Fox.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Seeing this first one, I loved it so much. I thought it was so good. When because every once in a while they have to redo the, hey, this is the origin story kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I liked how they did the origin story of this one. I thought it was really, really good. And like how you kind of mentioned it in the last episode, Megan, of Spider-Man was the first like comic that you were really introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
Same for me.
Oh,
it was
yay.
like the when they came out in the early 2000s with the bigger, like they were still paperback books, but they were bigger of like multiple comic books combined.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so like that early 2000s version of Spider-Man and also of Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman. I have both of those. I think I still actually have it on my bookshelf. So I liked it. I liked it. I love a good origin story when it comes to Spider-Man.
I do too. It's partially why I love Tobey Maguire so much. It's because I loved his backstory back in the day. It's a millennial thing. Tobey's my favorite Spider-Man. But it's Homecoming is great. I think Tom Holland is so excellent in the role of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good choice. I think a majority of people enjoyed the first of the Tom Holland Spider-Man series. Homecoming is really good.
Oh yeah, I think Tom Holland in general is fantastic, and I think that's why I'm
fantastic.
like, I'm not angry about it. I like all of his little cameos, even in what you mentioned with Civil War when he pops in and he steals Captain America's shield. Love that moment.
That's amazing. Yeah, one of the best in that movie. Yeah. All right, yay! I love it, Danielle. Okay, let's move on to number 4. I think people are okay. For me, it's Avengers Infinity War at number 4. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, why isn't this higher? This is like one of the best MCU movies. Listen, I'm a happy ending kind of girl. Okay. So if you give me a sad ending and a cliffhanger, I'm going to be like, WTF. What is going on? And luckily they only made us wait a year to see the result of all this, right? For Endgame. It's a fantastic movie. Like so entertaining, great, like entrances, like fight scenes, humor all around, fantastic. Coming together of all of our favorite superheroes. But when Thanos, quote unquote, wins at the end, not a fan. Not a fan of Vision, being KO'd. Not a fan of obviously people flying like little brown pixie dust into the air. I was like, that's so sad, especially with Spider-Man and Tony. I was so sad.
I'm not feeling good, Mr. Stark. I was done. Like, I was screaming in the theater when I saw that.
Seriously, like everyone was just like, no. And I think that's part of the reason people actually think it's like better than anything else is just it's so emotional and crazy. Like what a crazy ending. But for me, I'm like, it was too much to handle. Okay. So, that's why it didn't break top 3 for me. It's at number 4.
Okay. Cause to make sure I clarify correctly. So it's Endgame and then Infinity War right afterwards, right?
Infinity War was first again. Yeah. So Endgame. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So I did get that correct because for me, I don't watch the one without the other one immediately afterwards.
Because you gotta, I need some resolution here. I gotta know.
So I view it as one movie, weirdly enough.
Well, it kind of is. It's one long, like 6-hour movie. Yeah.
And some people will not agree with me because they're like, no, Danielle, they're completely separate. I'm like, no, not how I watch it because I refuse to acknowledge the ending of Endgame. So
or Infinity War. Infinity War is the one where they all dissipate into thin air.
Okay, and then Endgame is the one that takes place after that.
That's the conclusion.
Okay, so I was correct in my thinking. Okay, so it's Infinity Endgame.
Infinity Endgame, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, see that's how I usually remember it. Is like it's the Infinity. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yep. So there's my explanation of it. What's your number 4, Danielle?
So my number 4 is the first Thor movie.
Oh, Thor! Oh, I love that you're putting Thor so much in your list.
When I tell you, I think it's because I had such a fascination with like Greek, Roman, Norwegian, and like Egyptian mythology. Mm-hmm. I love the storylines behind them, and so to see like talking about Thor and the whole mythology side of it, I thought it was so cool. And of course, Loki's in it. That's really our main reason of why. That's why he's up there. He's at number 3 or number 4 because that is for Thor and Loki mostly.
I love it so much. Thor is actually one of my favorite Avengers, even though he doesn't make too much of an appearance in my list here, just because, yes, Chris Hemsworth, and someone mentioned this in the comments, he is not bad to look at. Yes, trust me, I think he's a literal god, in my opinion. And Loki, of course, is one of my favorite anti-heroes, so if not the favorite, and Scarlet Witch is up there too. But it was a great introduction to Thor. That was a really fun movie. Yes, Loki is fantastic. Tom Hiddleston, yeah, like he was perfect for the role. And I appreciate that you're giving so much love to Thor. Thanks for putting him in your list so much.
You're welcome, babe. So yes, he's sitting there pretty at number 4 for me.
Love it. All right. Number 3. Okay, let me see where. Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay, number 3 for me is Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, I honestly, when I first saw this movie, I kind of tuned out. I for some reason, because Captain America First Avenger did not hit with me, like it wasn't an amazing film in my opinion. I actually preferred Iron Man over First.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Over First Avenger. But when Winter Soldier, I watched it again recently and I was like, oh my, now I understand why people love this movie. It's so good. Like everything about it with Bucky and, oh my God, the fight scenes, like the dialogue, it's just so well done. And so now I finally understood why this is at a lot of people's top of their lists. And for me too, I was like, yeah, this is like one of the best that they ever created. So that's why it is at number 3. I love me some Sebastian Stan as well. He is one of my favorite MCU actors. For sure.
Brianna in the chat's like, Winter Soldier at 3? That's more controversial to me than Danielle's Dark World on the list.
Winter Soldier, it's just good. It's way better than First Avenger. So.
I know some people that love and are obsessed with Winter Soldier. So like, I get it. I really do.
Oh, it's so entertaining. And with Black Widow's in it too for a large portion of it. So
that's true. She has probably a bigger presence in that movie than she does the other ones.
She's in a lot of them. Yeah. But I love that she is because I'm a big ScarJo fan. So
yeah,
I love Black Widow. Loved it. And sadly, it did not make my top 10. But all right, what's your number 3?
Okay, my number 3, and this was the one that kind of got moved around a little bit, but number 3 for me is Avenger Endgame. And Endgame specifically. And like I said before, I do view Infinity War and Endgame into a seamless like 6-hour movie, but specifically the Endgame portion where Captain America, when all the portals open and then he says Avengers assemble, like chills every time. I just like whenever they play those clips or people use that audio, like that was a big audio back in 2020 also.
People still
on
use
TikTok.
It. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People still use it. I will like the video just because I like the audio so much. Yeah. And when people use it right also on social media, it's so good. So good.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah. What can you say about Endgame, man? I mean, there's more to say because it is my number 2, so I'll move on to
I think I was kind of figuring like that's where he was gonna fall down here for like the 2s and the top 3s. I'm wondering what your number 1's gonna be.
Get ready.
Or I might have a guess. But
I think you know. But yeah, no, Endgame is to me like one of the most perfect superhero movies. It's just like, okay, here's the problem. It's a devastating beginning because you're coming off of Infinity War. Then it's 5 years later. Everyone's still gone. We're still trying to find a solution to this catastrophe that happened to the world. And, a lot of the Avengers, right? So, with Tony coming back in, Ant-Man also having a large role in like the solution of it all. I can't remember, was this the one where Hulk was like half human or something? No.
He was like smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk. Yes, thank you. Love that. I thought that was hilarious. And
he has the taco scene with Ant-Man.
That's right. That's right. Or it was shawarma or no, it was tacos. It was tacos.
Tacos.
And also just the final battle scene, like you can't beat it, man. I'm sorry. It's just with my favorite part. I do love when all of the Avengers come back and they and they're all coming through the portals. I also love when Captain America summons Thor's hammer. Like, that is one of the it gives me chills even thinking about it.
Oh, it does. It really does. And that, I think, was I in the theater when I saw that for the first time? I'm pretty sure I was.
I think I saw it twice in theaters.
Yeah, I just remember whenever I did see it for the first time, like, my mouth was on the floor again for that moment too. I was just like,
one of the biggest, like, collective shouts in the theater when that happened. So it's, and then it all, comes to a head. Unfortunately, of course, it is still kind of sad because we all know that was Tony Stark's final film, Last Hurrah. So, but, I don't know.
I think they ended it really well though with him though in that movie. Like, it's one that you're like, oh yes, it was a passing that you're just like, okay, it was inevitable, but it had to happen for the MCU.
Right. And it was beautifully done. I did cry, of course, when Spider-Man came back to him and was talking to him. I was like, oh, but that's gonna get me. Ooh. Yeah. So Endgame's number 2 for me, y'all. There it is. What's your number 2, Danielle?
My number 2 is the one that you didn't like, and it's Captain America. I love the World War II, like the whole idea of you have like this little scrawny kid and like, again, I love a good origin story. I love a really good origin story. And for this one for Captain America, I really loved it. I loved the setting of it. I loved the music in it. That was really a lot of it, was the vibes in the origin story portion of it.
Danielle, I gotta say, it is very on brand for you. I totally understand.
Right. And I think everybody would agree with me too, of like, everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks for Danielle.
Without, exactly. With like the costuming also, and the music. I also do love watching the origin story, the backstory behind Captain America and Steve Rogers, and Peggy, of course. It's a really pretty love story. So I do appreciate that choice for your number 2. All right, are we ready for number 1, everybody? Are you ready?
Is me and Megan's number 1 going to match? Because I think there's one in particular that we haven't talked about.
I know. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you all so much for listening this far into the episode. We really appreciate it. If you agree or disagree, feel free to rant away at us in our DMs on Instagram, or if you want to leave a review on Apple or a comment on Spotify now. We really appreciate that. But thanks so much for listening. Let's get to our number 1 choice for the MCU. Mine is going to be Thor Ragnarok. Hooray!
Oh, it's so weird you don't have the same one, but that's okay.
Happy for you. Thank you. Talk about a movie that I could watch over and over again and never, ever get tired of it. It's this one. Really? Taika Waititi, you are a genius, except for Love and Thunder. We don't have to talk about that one. But Thor Ragnarok is overall just almost a perfect movie, in my opinion. There is, like, the humor. I was cracking up almost the entire time. The visuals are stunning. The brotherly love story and also the brotherly hate story between Thor and Loki in this film. Hulk, Valkyrie. Oh my gosh, do I love Valkyrie. And then you have Jeff Goldblum in the headmaster kind of like role, which is hilarious to me. I just
where's the Thor, the get help, and then he throws Loki? Is that in that movie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I did really like that scene because I think that is hilarious. Because that's something
hilarious.
Like, Come on. If me and my siblings were also like superheroes, I would do the same thing with my sister too, and just be like, get help, and then throw her and use her as the weapon. I would do that.
Like, how
and she'd be fine with it.
Right? And then just the final end scene, because I think it's Hela, the villain played by Cate Blanchett.
Yes.
Oh man, is she fantastic. And the kind of end battle with Thor really harnessing his God of Thunder power. Oh man. So stinking good. It's my number one, y'all. What can I say? It has been since it came out. So
see, that one didn't. I loved Loki's scenes in it, but because Loki dies in the end of that movie, that's why that one did not win for me.
Does he die?
Does he die? That's where Thanos is introduced.
He died. No, he dies in Infinity War.
Okay, true. But they're on the ship leaving the Ragnarok situation.
But we didn't know that when the movie came out, Danielle. We only figured that out in Infinity War. Okay, so you can't blame Thor Ragnarok for Loki's death.
It's because I knew it was coming, and that's what made me angry.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
I don't know. I think, but Loki, his fight scene with his little daggers, and then he has the open, like they have his hair flowing out of the helmet for that one. That is pretty cool. I thought that was really cool.
The outfit choices, the fact that Chris Hemsworth has short hair. Oh man, don't even get me started. But that was like one of my, definitely a highlight in that movie. Anyway, okay, sorry. What is your number one? Now I'm intrigued.
My number one is the tried and true. This is the OG, and it is the first Avengers movie. And
okay.
I like, again, because it's an origin story. This is the building of the Avengers team. This is where we really start to emotionally get attached to these characters. And Loki is really the key person. I loved him as the villain character. I loved I love the costume changes. I liked the bowing down scene. I thought that was great. I like his confrontation with Captain America. The whole fight scene at the end was also good. It's MCU, and I like the fight scenes, but they weren't over the top, because I'm not a big like when it comes to Deadpool and like the really bloody fight scenes, I think that's a little much for me. So like the in-betweens of what was happening in the first Avengers movie is what I liked.
It's a great choice, Danielle. I will say. I also do like the origin story. Loki being the villain has some great scenes. Is this the one where Hulk smash and he moves Loki side to side and smashes him into the ground?
Yes.
That's this one, right? Yeah.
It is this one. And then he's just like, I'll have the drink now. And you're just like, no.
Yeah. Big fan of that scene. So I think what a great round out to this list. The first Avengers, where it all began for the team. So
I think so.
Well done. Okay. Yay. Love our list. I love that we put Thor had the most appearances, I think, in this list, which makes me so happy. Maybe Captain America does too.
We had a good disbursement of representation, I think, for the most part.
We did throughout the heroes.
Again, we know some of y'all are going to be screaming and being like, Danielle, Megan, why didn't you mention these ones?
Yeah,
you never know.
One? Yeah.
It could be in a bonus episode. We have a lot more topics to cover. There's so much more to cover also, so stick around. And thanks again, y'all, for listening this far into the end of the episode. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. Be sure to listen up for that bonus episode. And we got some more content coming your way, especially after D23. So until we see you next time, have a very magical day.
And night-night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight. Nikki just mentioned that we left out the one with Thor's butt mentioned in it, but
left out
because that's the one that you don't like.
Oh, that's Love and Thunder.
I didn't see Love and Thunder, so that's why I can't include that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's not.
But we really know whose butt we really care about, and it's America's butt is really what we care about. And like Thor's is fine. But I
think it's in Endgame. That was actually one of my favorite scenes where he's fighting himself and he goes, I could do this all day. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like that delivery was so funny. I died at that part. It was so good. To have your name at the end of our new episodes and to receive a bunch of magical perks, please check out our Patreon via the link in the episode notes.
Or visit patreon.com/Disney Countdown Show. We'll see you there.